Hello and welcome to INGLES YouTube channel. Today we bring you the first training video about our trading station. Our trading station has been created for the MT4 platform and includes several very interesting tools oriented towards all kinds of users and their specific needs. To begin with, we have divided the trading station in 4 zones. The first one, Screener, the second, Book, then Statistics, Market, and in turn, we will divide the whole trading station in 2 sections, Information and Alert section and a Trading or Trading Expert section. In our tutorial videos, we have differentiated the screener area on the one hand and, on the other, the areas of books, statistics and markets, as well as the trading or trading expert zone in several different tutorials. As we said previously, we are going to focus on the screener part for our first training video. What is the screener zone and what is it used for? The screener zone consists of 6 main blocks. The first one is the Trading Ideas or Strategic Plans area. Here we can see different strategic plans that our trading tool suggests to our user as alternatives to pay attention to during our daily training. In the second box, the Open Trading Strategies appear. This is those positions the trading station has taken within the market and the user can see, check or join. In the third section, we have the Trader Manager. Here we can find the different operations the user have opened using the tool and therefore he or she can choose to close or cancel. In the fourth place, we see Instrument Information. Every time we click on an asset in the trading idea, zone or the order area, specific information about the selected instrument will show up. That information will be related to the technique, type of trade, ranking, pivot points, and probability of success. The fifth box refers to the market situation of the strategy we have chosen. When we select any of the trading ideas, we will be able to see the market situation of that particular instrument. So, every time we are considering a strategy or a trading idea, we can check that asset, information and its market situation, including its trend, histogram and its oversold or overbought levels. Lastly, the sixth section is dedicated to macroeconomic events, where we can find all the daily macroeconomic data relevant to the trades and ordered by date, currency, volatility and type of event. And that is everything about the screener main window. Now we will go on to develop each one of the sections. The first section, as commented before, is the one named Trading Ideas. In this area, we have all the possible operations we can carry out with indexes, currencies, and commodities. As mentioned before, they are just suggestions, so just strategies or plans we can analyze and observe in the market. In the first part of the box, we can see the type of asset we can use that trading strategy with. As we pointed out before, in green we find currencies, in blue indexes, and in yellow commodities. Within the global indexes, we normally work with the European ones as the German DAX, the Spanish IBEX 35 or Euro Stoxx 50. And for the American indexes, for example, Nasdaq Dow Jones or S&P 500. Regarding commodities, gold and petrol, and as to currencies, we usually work with majors and some minors. In total, 26 currencies, 6 indexes and 2 commodities. On the second column, we have reflected with a red or green triangle short and long trades, being the red one for short and the green one for long. In the third place, we can see the name of the technique. The trading techniques we use in the trading station are four: critical turn, RMO, VCN, or MACD EMB. These four strategies are used for different market moments: for full upward trend, counter-trend trades, corrective range, and breakout operations. The next information we have is about the asset price and its evolution of the day, either negative or positive. In the following two columns, we have the success probability of that technique and that symbol or instrument. As you can see, the technique we have seen in the second column indicates the probability is atypical. That probability shows us the technique statistics for all the instruments. In this case, critical turn has a probability of 93. However, in the second column, which is the symbol statistics, we can find the specific probability that particular asset has. So each instrument has its own probability against the technique one. If the instrument success probability is higher than the technique statistics, it will turn blue. And if it's not, it will appear in white, as in the case of the dollar against the franc, which has a lower success probability than the average of all the assets that use the critical turn, which is 93. Therefore, it is very interesting to assess the historical statistics of an instrument when it is better than the average of the technique. In the following section, we have some very relevant information. The potential. The potential is the number of pips or points that an instrument can move either upwards or downwards. For example, in this case, we have that 17 is the number of pips that, based on its volatility, the dollar against the yen is moving. 31 in the case of DAX, and in addition, in the dollar franc, we see 16 and 13 for the euro dollar. Being aware of the instrument movement potential allows us to increase or reduce our possibilities of profit in the market so that a high potential will indicate us that we can obtain a high profit in our trade. In the fourth column, we can find the spread, which is the differential between the bid and the ask of that particular instrument price. In that case, for the dollar against franc, the spread is 0.2. We skip the quality column for now and we go straight to the trade column. Here we have a button in color orange for short trades and a green one for bullish trends. If we click on them, we will be able to open a chart to see the trading idea with all its parameters. Before that, a pop-up will show up with the legal disclaimer, where we have to decide whether we accept the legal conditions or not, in order to see the chart and all the indicators and trade possibilities incorporated. We have left for the end the quality column because of its high relevance. This part shows from 0 to 5 stars. When we have 0 stars, it is represented with a black dot, but normally trades oscillate from 1 star to 5. The more stars we have, the higher the quality of the operation will be. What does the quality of a trade depend on? It will depend on several technical factors that will help or not achieve the result the technique we're using demands. Once we detect the quality, we can click on it, and just by doing it, a pop-up will appear. In this pop-up, we can get some relevant information about the potential of the instrument. This is a low, medium, or high one. Taking into account the potential, the tool will recommend us one type of order or another. It also informs us of the distance to the next support level. If it is a long distance, it means that it has a high potential, which allows us to use a long-range strategy. It shows the risk type, being in this case a very low one, because the context of the signal is excellent. This is 5 stars, so the best quality. We can also find the probability of the symbol versus the technique, being in the example a balance between both, and lastly, it shows determining technical aspects that have caused those 5 stars. As we can see, 1 star for being in the neutral zone, the second one because there is no divergence, the third for having a high potential, and 2 for being away from the next pullback level. Therefore, it is a bearish trade in the franc against yen of an excellent quality with a low risk, a medium potential, and a distant resistance. So, a very good trade regarding the global context of the pop-up and the information it provides us with. As we can see, the information of the potential and distance comes in the first part, risk information in the intermediate part. Here we have the quality with its 5 stars, and finally the success probability and its explanation. To sum up, in the pre-signals group, we have relevant information and we can emphasize mainly the probability of success. We will look for instruments that have high statistics and those with a high potential, so it has a wide range with a good quality. So, probability, potential, and quality will be essential when assessing the strategies we want to trade. The second box is for the open trading strategies. In the first section, we see the symbol. Remember, green for currencies, blue for indexes, and yellow for commodities, along with the technique and time it was opened. By default, all trades will appear ordered from the most recent one to the oldest. For example, the last trade registered appears at 1:10 on the 15th of January. Therefore, 15th of January, 1:10 in the afternoon, the last trade opened was on Australian yen with a critical turn technique. In the information, we again stress the probability just in case you were not able to see those data in the trading ideas section. You can check it now in Open Trades. In addition, you can also check the parameters related to entry, stop, and take profit that will be essential to know at what point we began our trade, when we will lose, and where we will get profit. Lastly, clicking on the trade button will allow us to open the charts and incorporate them to the trading idea as long as we said before, you had accepted the legal pop-up where all the legal clauses are explained in order to be able to carry out the trade. Therefore, all the information relevant to the open orders will be at our disposal. The third area is the trade management or dashboard where all the trades are included. Here we can find important information as the asset we are trading and the technique we have opened the position with. If the technique appears in white, it is an operation performed as manual. This is using a freely fulfilled one. It shows us if the operation is a short or long one, if we are already in, but an order that has been sent to the market and hasn't been executed yet will appear as a buy limit or sell limit order. Afterwards, when the trade is finally opened, the time and day it happened will be indicated. We also have the lot we have entered the trade with in this box. This is the volume of currencies, indexes, or commodities we are trading, the parameters of the trade we have entered, where we placed the stop loss and the take profit. The following area will show us the number of pips won or lost. When you have lost them, they will appear in red and in green when you have won them. And lastly, in the last column, we have the close and cancel buttons, so all the trades can be closed just by clicking the close buttons, and those operations placed on the market but not executed can be removed from there by clicking the cancel button. With this, we have seen the boxes of trading ideas, open strategies, and the trade manager. Now we are moving to the information section of the instrument we are trying to analyze. As we have mentioned before, when we click on one of the instruments that appear in the trading ideas or open trades, the information of that asset will automatically appear within the corresponding box. As you can see, here we have technical data, trade direction, spread, statistics, etc. The first thing we see on top part of the window is that it will be red if the instrument is bearish and green if it is a bullish operation. Additionally, we will also see the instrument's name and spread. In the second place, we have a line where we can check information related to the technique we have used to enter, in this case, a pullback or a critical turn. We see that the operation is a short one, and we can also see it in the text color as well as its position in the ranking. The ranking is understood as the number that assets take up within the ups and downs of the day. A ranking 1 out of 26 means that it is the most bullish instrument, and a ranking 26 out of 26 means it is the most bearish one. Then we can also know if the instrument is in either pivot point zone or a neutral one, as in the example. The different zones are neutral, support or resistance 1, support or resistance 2, and support or resistance 3. Finally, we can also know whether the asset presents a divergence or not. As you can see, very relevant technical information to know at every moment what's the status of, taking the example, the dollar against the yen regarding its levels of resistance, pivot point or supports, its exhaustion by divergence, or its bullish or bearish quality in the ranking. In the last line, we will have the statistics of the technique and symbol exactly the same as in the trading ideas section. We find again that the technique probability is 93 and the probability of the symbol is 95. When the probability of the symbol is higher than the probability of the technique, then the symbol box appears in green. But when the probability of the symbol is lower than the technique one, both boxes will appear in gray. Once we have seen the instrument information, we will go on to see the market situation. The market situation is divided in 3 zones: the trend zone or timing, the zone of histogram or slope, and the RSI or momentum area. These data appear in 4 time frames: 5 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours, and 1 day. This way, if the 5-minute time frame is gray, it means that the trend is neutral. When it is red, it means it is bearish, and green when it is bullish. Sometimes we will see all the timing boxes in green, which means that there is a very good bullish alignment, or in red, which is a very good bearish alignment, or, as in the example, all of them might be in gray, which happens when the instrument is in a neutral zone or not in a trend. The histogram will show us the trend slope. If the trend is bearish and the slope is positive, it is likely that it continues falling, and if the slope is bearish or bullish and the slope is rising, it is normal for that trend to remain like this. When we have a gray box, it means that the slope is neutral and therefore the trend and slope are neutral too. And when we have a colored box, in this case red, it means that the slope is negative, and when it is green, the slope is positive. What is interesting for us is that the slope is positive or green when we are trend trading. Finally, we have the RSI, which is the indicator of the relative strength index that an asset shows. In this case, the instrument we are using is in 5 minutes, neutral, oversold, or overbought. When it is overbought, it appears in green. When oversold, in red. and when it is neutral, it appears in grey. So in this area of the market situation, we can see the trend information, the slope of the trend and the momentum in 4 different time frames. Hence, some very relevant information that may help us take entry and exit decisions about the market. There, we have it in red or green for all 4 time frames. Green histogram, bullish slope, red one for bearish slope, and RSI red indicates oversold, green overbought, and grey neutral. Lastly, we've reached the last zone, which is the macroeconomic events area. In the macroeconomic events being what you see, a reduced version as we have another zone where the events can be checked in full, we have some important data about the macroeconomic events so we keep informed at any moment about what is happening and the relationship between the macroeconomic events and the trading ideas users want to carry out through the trading station. As you can see in the first column, we find the event time, so we can check whether the event is going to take place soon or not. Next to this, we can check what currency it affects, so if I am going to trade euro-dollar, I will have to take into account if the macro information affects either the euro or dollar. In the third place, we have volatility. Volatility is presented in 3 degrees. 1 star, 2 or 3 being 3 stars the highest volatility and the data we have to be more careful about when trading instruments. In the last column, we have the description of the event that briefly summarizes the event the heading refers to in the language we have chosen it to be. In addition to the macroeconomic event box, we also have the opportunity to stay informed with pop-ups that will warn us about the risk of opening a trade at a certain moment. To do that, a pop-up will appear 30 minutes before a 3-star volatility event takes place, warning us to be careful, and we will only be able to get rid of it by clicking on OK, making sure we have checked it. We can also see the same warning 10 minutes before it takes place if the assessment of its volatility is either 2 or 3 and affects our asset, so we can judge if we really want to open that position. So, if we want to trade an instrument that is related to an event with a 3-star volatility, a pop-up will appear warning us to trade with precaution, as that currency has some high-risk event linked to it. In conclusion, we will be perfectly well informed with the pop-ups 30 and 10 minutes before, and the ones that point out that the trade we are about to perform has some high-degree volatility information associated. This way we will avoid confusion and the high levels of volatility that some macroeconomic data bring with them and could affect us in a negative manner. This is all about the screener section. I hope you have liked it, and we will continue in the next tutorial video with the sections of book, statistics and markets. Cheers!